Hey everyone, I wanted to talk about pieces of insights that are really problematic for OCD sufferers, anxiety sufferers, and also just humans alike, kind of delving into that perfectionistic health kind of culture that we're living in right now, where I always talk about that people aren't really living anymore, they're just existing, and they're planning their entire day based on how to live to perfection, and then what's happening is they're not living at all. So let's just jump right into it. I have a post here on Facebook that I made 3 hours ago in the OCD Recovery Facebook group. If you're not a member of that group, please join it. We have almost 17,500 members. It's the fastest growing group on Facebook when it comes to OCD. And if you want to learn more about our webinar and coaching services, please email info@ocdrecovery.com. Now, throughout this video, I'm going to do a breakdown of all the different points. There's 12 of them right here. Go through each one, the problems I see in the one-to-one coaching, the problems I see with perfectionism. If I missed anything on here that you think that you see are a problem, please comment down below and then let me know if you don't agree with any of these, something else you want to see me do another video on, and let's just jump right into it. Number one. The reason why this is number one, because I've been seeing this a lot, and I have friends that wear these big yellow blocking glasses, and it's all a load of nonsense. Blue light isn't nearly as problematic as humans believe. Now, why is the blue light crave so big? Well, number one, it gives people a false sense of control. You don't have control over your circadian rhythm like you think. When you sleep, you sleep. When you don't, you don't. There's a girl that we work with. Her name is Beth, the Insomnia Coach. I believe that's her Instagram. Please go give her a follow. She is great. She had really, really problematic insomnia. She probably gives the best insomnia advice I've ever seen. How she's gone from sleep center to sleep center, blue light blocking, milk at night, the perfect sleep schedule. The more you try to control sleep, the more problematic. And this is based entirely off fear of fear. You do not need to wear any sort of blue light blocking glasses at night. I don't sleep that well to begin with, and I'm perfectly fine. I live my life. Am I a little bit more tired sometimes because I have dogs to wake me up? Sure. But it's the fear of getting worse, the fear of not having the perfect life, and the fear of fear. So I don't think anyone needs to wear a single blue light blocking glass ever. That doesn't mean that it doesn't stop, melatonin from being secreted. Sure, there are physiologic things it might do, but it is so minuscule to what people make it out to be. So the best thing I can tell you is to put down the blue light blocking glasses and do your best to feel the lack of sleep. That's key. Number two is caffeine is not inherently bad for you. Now, we are on all sorts of kicks. You hear people talking about caffeine's not real energy. It blocks adenosine receptors and it's just stress hormones. Yeah, sure, that's all great. But caffeine is awesome. And coffee is the fucking shit. So I love coffee and I love caffeine. And I'll be drinking coffee and caffeine for the rest of my life. Or other forms of caffeine like pre-workout. Moderation and balance is key. It usually always comes down to the fear of getting worse, the fear of not being able to sleep, and the fear of fear. You do not have to cut caffeine. I recovered from OCD, sensory motor OCD, without drinking with drinking caffeine. You can do that. It's not nearly as problematic as people make it out to be. Number three, alcohol doesn't inherently make OCD worse. Not in the way we imagine. Now, this is not pertaining to alcoholism. This is pertaining to people who have maybe in college, they had false memory real event, a little bit of cheating OCD, a little bit of ROCD, and they go, you know what? Alcohol's bad for you. I'm just going to cut it out. Pure avoidance. It's the biggest subtle avoidance behavior with college kids who like to go out and drink. I've never, ever liked drinking, ever. Anyone that's known me my whole life knows that. I was DD all throughout college. But that's just me. If you enjoy casually drinking and going out to the clubs and all that, do it. You have to get used to the feeling of being hungover. You have to get used to the feeling of maybe drinking a little bit too much. That's what humans do. Even though I'm not a drinker, I still have had plenty of nights where I've gone out Miami and Vegas and birthday parties and woke up in the morning and holy shit, I feel horrible. And that is key. That is key. So you don't need to avoid alcohol. If anyone's telling you you have to avoid alcohol, they're playing directly into that reassurance. And again, it's very important to cover. This is not alcoholism. These are the majority of people that can balance it and want to balance it, enjoy social drinking, but they're so afraid of making their OCD worse. Number four, counting calories is rarely ever needed in life. Let go of control. Because my body dysmorphia, I counted my calories on paper, my macros. If anyone wants to know what macros are, those are protein, carbs, and fat, and then sugar alcohols or alcohols. So I'll give you a little physiology right here just for fun. Protein and carbs, 4 calories, alcohol 7 per gram, and fat 9. So what people will do is they'll be so restrictive on some of these calories because they're like, well, I got to make sure I'm eating in the right thing. And then this is where all the eating disorders can come in as well. We're not going to cover that. I'm just highlighting that. The body image fears, and then full-blown body dysmorphia like I had, where it's constantly thinking about a particular aspect of your body, which could have just been OCD of a body part, but it doesn't really matter. I title it body dysmorphia, but it really doesn't matter. It took over my life for 10 years. So you do not need to count calories. And I'm going to combine number 6 with number 4. Sugar isn't inherently bad. Enjoy foods with moderation and balance. You can eat the foods you want to eat. If you want to eat cookies in moderation, but have fun. You're going to live one time. Yeah, sure, if you're really unhealthy and you want to get healthy, cut some things back. But we know that people who cut large food groups out, people that are too strict about this, we're not even talking about OCD sufferers. They can't stick with it. So you can have sugars, you can eat cookies, you can have all the fun you want to have with nutrition, and you can still recover. But balance and moderation is usually key. Number 5, because I just combined 4 and 6. Strict workout programs are usually more problematic than not. Why are workout programs so popular? Bodybuilding, powerlifting. It's because people think that they can get this deep sense of control. This is all you need to know in the gym. Even like top athletes, whether you're a professional bodybuilder, CrossFit athlete, powerlifter, this is all you need to know. Progressive overload, tension, making progress, listen to your body when it needs some rest. The end. That's it. Most people do not make money off the gym, but yet they work out like they will make money off the gym. Now, I love working out like the next person. I train really heavy 5 days a week, but it doesn't bring me any money per se. It makes me actually healthier at my work, which then could be, you could actually frame it in that sense. But people won't go out. They won't eat certain things. It's all about control and conditional self-acceptance. I know this better than most because I was so heavily involved in the bodybuilding fitness world. It is a disaster for conditional self-acceptance. This does not mean you can't work out. This does not mean you can't run a program. But if you are problematic with programs uncontrolled, then you'll more than likely want to drop the programs. That is key. Number 7. Being single isn't as horrible as society makes it out to be. Now, the reason, where does being single and the societal beliefs are, oh, you're not 30, you're 30, you're not married, you don't have children, that is usually passed down from generation to generation for people who couldn't think for themselves. And that might sound blunt, but it's the truth. The reason why so many people don't think outside societal beliefs, it's not because they can't think for themselves sometimes, they just have never been shown the way. And or they're too naive to want to question what they believe. People believe things so heavily. I have very strong beliefs about politics and money and religion and OCD recovery, but I'm always willing to listen to other people's beliefs and still can be open-minded and disagree with them strongly because I understand that agreement doesn't mean acceptance, and that's key. So being single being a bad thing, the ROCD beliefs, really do stem from religion and then FOMO, fear of missing out, so conditional life acceptance. Once you break down religion for what it is, which I won't go to in this video, there's a lot of irrational beliefs in religion. This being one of them. Being single is bad. Being with a family is always a better option. That's not true. You might want to dedicate your entire life to work and do something that many people don't want to do. Eric and I are probably not having children, and my family, other people, oh, you should have kids, you're missing out. That's because they've never thought any further than what they know. Like I always talk about, we'll use this right here. Let's say most people think it's a rock. Most people think on the surface level of the rock. The deeper you get into the structure inside the rock, or the pit of the apple I like to use, the more of the barriers of society are broken down. It doesn't mean you might not follow a societal belief, but you have broken that down in a way to where you don't need to follow what the crowd does. Most people follow the crowd for 2 reasons. They don't know any better, and or they're too naive to change. That's just the reality of life. And they don't like being uncomfortable and questioning things that they think are attached to their identity, which is a problem. Number 8, traveling alone isn't as scary as society makes it out to be. This goes directly into number 7. If you want to travel by yourself, travel by yourself. I have so many friends that say, oh, it's weird. I don't want to travel by myself. That's a really weird thing. There's nothing weird about it. There's no such thing as normal in anything. Normal is the societal mass belief. Some things are better off for a society. Some things are not. Some things are more problematic, even if the masses believe it. I heard a great quote, a great person who I admire a lot, say a quote that I heavily disagreed with. And I can still look up to this person. They said, when the crowd speaks, they're usually right. Absolutely nonsense. In my opinion, when the crowd speaks, they're usually wrong. Really wrong. I mean, like way off from a philosophical Stoic perspective of rational thinking. They are way, way, way off. Just because a group of people think one way doesn't mean you have to think that one way. And it really takes some discomfort to get to that. There's no superficial here. It takes a lot of work to change your beliefs. Milo's right here. To change your beliefs. He's laying outside in the sun because he's so black. He's so hot. I know you're a black fur. You're really hot. So number 9. This goes directly into 7 and 8. It's why I put them in this order. Going against societal norms can seem scary, but it isn't as scary once we break down fears. There could be relationship. Maybe you want to be polyamorous and you don't want to be monogamous. Sure, could that potentially cause more like intertwining relationship problems? Sure. But if you're accepting of that and that's what you want to do, sure. Marriage is not the best option for everyone. That is a societal belief that comes from religion. Once you start to break this down, you start to see how simple this concept is. This is not something that's, I'm married. I'm a married person saying that. There are pros to cons to being married, and there are pros to cons to not being married. When people say, oh, it's selfish to be single, oh, it's selfish not to have children, there's no evidence to support that whatsoever. And all the evidence that they have on that is suggestive and usually biased. So don't get any of your societal belief systems from research. I can go into a 30-hour conversation about research about how biased and not, the only thing that we know, like, which is still even arguable to some people, the only thing we know for a fact is gravity, right? This drops every time in this universe. Drops, 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 and you die. Everything else is up to interpretation. So societal norms are not always correct. That's really, really key to cover that. So we have 3 more left. And I'm going to combine 10 and 11 together because they are similar, just different times of the day. You don't need strict sleep routines and you don't need strict morning routines. Now, routines are great. I have plenty of routines. I have goal routines. I have workout routines. But the thing is, I don't hold those routines as my identity anymore. They're just things that I do that I'm always willing to change. I've had structures and routines that I had, and I've changed them because I didn't think they were that beneficial. But the problem is, when it comes to OCD recovery, is this. A lot of you have no routines. You're sleeping all day. You're playing video games. You're scrolling your phone. Your life is going by you. Your life is not going to wait for you to feel better. I always tell people, do not judge OCD recovery off the way you feel. Judge OCD recovery based off, oh my God, I'm falling apart right now, off your perceptions of how your belief systems are structured. Are you bringing down compulsions? Are you stopping engaging in avoidance behaviors? Are you seeing the world a lot more rationally? And it doesn't matter if you feel better or not. That's the hardest thing because people judge their recovery off the way they're feeling. It's why people's routines are so shit. So take care of yourself. Cook some food. Don't just eat out all the time. Moderation is key. I had a double cheeseburger last night with fries and a milkshake. It was fire, but I don't have that every single night. And even if you do have that every single night, you could still recover. I've never met a person who changed their exercise, nutrition alone, never worked on their beliefs and recovered. But I've met many people who aren't that healthy. They accept they're not healthy. They like smoking a bunch of cigars. They like drinking a little bit too much for them. And they work on their beliefs and they're very stoic and very rational and they make extreme progress. These are the little things. They do matter, but they don't matter as much as we think. Number 12, my favorite one. You do not need 8 hours like most people imagine. I actually put this wrong. I put 8 hours, not 8 hours of sleep. Let me change that. Hours of sleep like most imagine. Literally just said you don't need 8 hours. You don't need 8 hours of sleep like most imagine. I usually sleep 6 to 6.5, but wake up many times per night thanks to my dogs. That's so funny. Sleep is important. A lot of people say to us, you guys are saying sleep isn't important. Sleep is vital. Sleep is key. It's just not as important as you think it is. You are going to die. I know it sounds redundant and I know it sounds funny. Well, yeah, if I'm going to live, I gotta feel the best. I gotta always be feeling the best. This is so problematic for OCD recovery and anxiety recovery, insomnia recovery, and problematic for people. You sleep when you sleep, you don't when you don't. If you look at history, people didn't have the luxury of the way we sleep today. It's much different today than it was in the past. Think about the boats on the Titanic and Third Steer. Think about people sleeping on battlefields. Think about any time before 1900, unless you were royalty, 1200 AD. Think about 500 BC. I mean, we live in a very, very sleep perfectionistic, and this goes directly into point one, the blue light. You don't have to wear blue light blocking glasses. You don't have to have that strict of a sleep routine. Now, if your sleep routine is completely garbage, then yeah, having a sleep routine, without holding it down, bolting it down could be key. People who are playing video games till 9 in the morning like I was. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. These are just 12 things I see people do wrong. 12 things we don't really need to understand or partake in. Some of these, there's nothing wrong with these inherently, like counting your calories isn't inherently bad. Counting your macros aren't inherently bad. Tracking your workout program isn't inherently bad, but it's usually a form of control and a lot more problematic. So kind of drop those things for a while and see how it goes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below. Let me know if you like these type of list videos. I actually like these the most. These are my most, because I just like the way these come out, especially when it comes to telling people what they don't need to do, because there are a lot of people that are telling you, you have to do these things when you don't. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below, and email info@OCD Recovery again if you're interested in the webinar services and coaching services, and that gives you access to the WhatsApp groups. Thank you so much, guys. Always a pleasure. Have a great day.